We're gonna go through 5 of my favorite core exercises and why I like them. All right, so this first movement gets butchered a lot and is done incorrectly, but hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know how to do it. So it's oblique crunches. We're gonna start off with our feet shoulder distance apart. If you have your feet closer together, it'll just be a little bit harder. And we're gonna have our palm to the back of the head. I wanna make sure that the elbow is in line with my head and facing up slightly. So I'm really getting that stretch across my right side. And then from here, I'm gonna drive my weight, either kettlebell or dumbbell, doesn't really matter, towards my left knee. And then I'm gonna drive my right elbow towards the floor. So I'm getting both flexion and extension on the left side and right side, noticing that I'm not moving my hips and the movement is happening from my obliques. It's not good enough to stop here. We really have to drop all the way down, okay? And then side view, if you were to look at me this way, I'll face this way. I'm making sure that I'm pretending like I'm between 2 glass doors. My elbow is not rolling forward and I'm not pushing my hips back, right? So as I lower down, I stay upright. And as I crunch on the other side, I also stay upright. Okay, hope that made sense. That's your first movement, oblique crunches. Plank jerks is your second exercise. We're gonna start off in a plank position, extending the legs, staying nice and active. It's an anti-rotational movement, which means we're not dipping the hips side to side. In fact, when you are doing that, you're defeating the purpose of this exercise. You wanna make sure that your shoulders are right on top of your wrists. Your fingers are nice and wide. So you're not just putting weight into the heel of the hand, but you're also putting weight in the finger pads and the back of the knuckles to spread the weight evenly. And in that plank position, the hips don't drive up. It's not a downward dog position. The hips are in line with the shoulders, okay? And with the plank drags, we're gonna have the weight to the outside, okay? So it's not right under my body, it's to the outside of my body. Right now it's on my right side. So what I'm going to do is take my left hand and drag that weight over towards that side. Now it's on my left side. This time I'm gonna take my right hand and drag that weight over to the other side. I'm staying very stable here, so my hips are not moving side to side, and I'm doing everything in my power to prevent that rotation. It's a nice, slow, controlled movement. It doesn't matter how many reps you do, it matters how much control you have. If this is very challenging, drop the knees down, but I don't want to see a tabletop position. I want a straight line from the knees to the shoulders, right? We're still bracing the core, so we're not arching into the low back either. Sometimes when I say I want your hips to be in line with your shoulders or one straight line, we don't have that core engagement, we just do this. We rely on more of an up dog position. So really be careful of that, making sure that we're still staying pretty active. We're going to stay on the floor and get into our third exercise. So this is a single-sided exercise again, unilateral. And we're going to start off with either a dumbbell or a kettlebell. I love kettlebells, as you guys may know. So I usually tend to use those in my workouts, my exercises, but a dumbbell works just as fine, okay? All right, so you're gonna start off on your back. If the dumbbell or kettlebell is on my right side, then I know I'm gonna go towards the left side. So I'm going to extend my left leg as well. My knee is bent. This weight is heavy enough that I can just crunch up. I'm gonna bring my right shoulder on top of left shoulder, stacking my shoulders, and then putting weight into my elbow, keeping my eyes up towards the kettlebell or dumbbell, then pressing up towards up to my palm. Doing that again, I'm going out at an angle, pressing straight up, and lowering back down. At any point, I gotta make sure that the dumbbell or kettlebell stays on top of my shoulder. I'm never doing this, because that's so much harder for you to get up, even with a light weight. So imagine if it's heavy enough. Seeing it on the other side, now I have the dumbbell or kettlebell on my left side, on my left shoulder, which means my left knee is going to be bent and my right leg is extended. I'm gonna go onto my back, and again, notice how I'm going on an angle. Left shoulder on top of right shoulder. I'm keeping that dumbbell or kettlebell stacked right on top of my shoulder, and I'm pushing my palm into the floor to come up. Elbow off the floor. Lower back down, roll back down, and do that again. Your arms stay straight the whole time. We're going to transition off the floor and make it up into standing to get into our marches. So I have a weight that's a little bit more challenging, and I'm going to rack it on my shoulder. This could be a dumbbell or a kettlebell, really up to you. And this is in a front-loaded position. And from here, we're going to drive the knees up into a front-loaded marches. I like extending the other arm. It helps me, keeps me balanced. And again, if this is fairly comfortable, then what we're going to do is press the weight overhead, preventing the arch into the low back, keeping the ribs in, and again, driving the knees up. We're trying to prevent the excessive hip tilt side to side. So as I drive the knee up, I'm not tilting side to side. I'm staying nice and strong, almost like a statue, driving the knees up. If this is fairly comfortable, then what we're going to do is do an offset march. So we're gonna have a lighter weight in that same position, that front rack position, and a heavier one right by our side, beside our legs. And then from here, the lighter one is gonna stay on the shoulders. The heavier one's gonna stay extended. And again, same thing, driving the knees up. This feels fairly comfortable. You know what to do. Bring it overhead. But I'm just giving you all these variations. I want you to take your time as you transition between these variations. All right, so either marches or overhead marches, ensuring there's a little bit more space in between your right elbow and your body on the same side that's extended down. And side view, arms extended, ribs in, core is engaged, glutes are engaged, drive those knees up. And of course, always doing both sides. We're gonna take it up to standing and get into our rotational core exercise with a slam ball. I'm gonna start off with my feet wider than shoulder distance apart. I like to do 3 rocks here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna bring it around over my head and then slamming it down. I'm pivoting on the balls of my feet, my toes, knees, hips, and shoulders all face the same way, okay? So one of the most common mistakes is what happens is we throw, but without the rotation. I wanna be able to take my body towards the side that I'm throwing the ball to. We're gonna stick to one side, doing 6 to 10 reps, and adding a bit more power each rep. So really slamming down, bending into your knees to catch your stability, to catch your balance. 1, 2, 3, slam. Let's say I did 6 to 10 reps on that side. We're gonna do the other side. 1, 2, 3, slam, turn, get nice and low. The heavier the ball, the more challenging it will be, okay? So keeping the integrity of the movement, even though it's a fast-paced movement. Okay. Over, around, hold, slam, okay? All right, that is 5 of my favorite core exercises. There are many more, but just remember, doing core doesn't always mean doing core exercises. It also may be loading one side as you lunge, right? And loading one side as you squat. Our core is constantly working. We're bracing our core when we squat, when we deadlift, when we do all the different movements. So just because you're not directly targeting the core, indirectly we hit it a lot. You guys, thank you so much for joining. I love doing these videos. If you all have any questions, if you guys want me to cover anything in the future, comment below. I want to hear all about it. I want to know. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Have a great day.